The story of the miser and the generous man. There is a miser and a generous person who pool their capital together. Every time he weighs sugar, flour, or anything else, the miser also takes a few flowers from the customer. A generous person will always add an extra ounce for guests. Seeing that, the miser got angry and asks, "Why did you do that?" "Because eating less is bad, I will continue to do so." "If so, then you and I are no longer together. Let in number 39 s divide it up, whoever gets his share." They divided the wealth among themselves. The miserly person takes the store and the goods, and the generous person takes the money. The generous person thinks, and quote, "I Don and number 39 want to be here with this stingy old man." End quote. Thinking so, he took the money and left there. The grocery store has also closed since then. At that time, there were no means of transportation, so generous people had to walk. Traveling all day, at night he slept in the fields. One day, he arrived in a city. When he approached the city wall, it was already dark and he said to himself, end quote, "I will sleep here tonight, tomorrow morning I will go into the city." End quote. Thinking so, he found a hole in the straw and went to sleep. At midnight, a group gathered outside the alcove door. They said to each other, "You know," said a goat, "there is something happening in this city." The king and number 39's son was sick and about to die. All doctors were invited to treat the prince. Another goat cried out, "The prince will be saved if there is a cure." One child asks, "What remedy?" "Take some oil, heat it up and sprinkle it on the prince and number 39's body. The prince will recover and be healthy as usual." The next morning the generous man went into the city. He noticed that the whole city was very sad. He asked everyone, "Why are you so sad?" They answered, "The prince is very sick and in danger of not being able to save him. If the prince dies, the king will order all the children his age to be killed. In this city there are many children of that age." The generous man said, "Don and number 39 worry, everyone, I will cure the prince right away." Seeing that, everyone led the guests to the king and said, "Noble king, this man will cure the prince. You treated my son?" The king asked the generous person. "Yes, Your Majesty," the king excitedly declared. "If you succeed, I will give you many precious gifts of the kingdom." The king personally led the guest into his son and number 39's room. The generous person ordered some oil to be warmed up and sprinkled on the prince and number 39's body. Immediately, the prince stood up and spoke normally like a healthy person. The king was overjoyed. He ordered many gifts to be brought to the man who cured his child. The king and number 39's gift makes the generous man rich. He opened a large store. People from near and far came to buy his products because the prices there were very cheap. The miser heard that there was a store far away from this city that sold goods at very cheap prices, so he immediately went there. Of course, the miser and the generous recognize each other. The miser asks, "How do you have so much money?" The generous person warmly said, "You just stay here as my guest. After a week I will tell you everything." The miser agreed to stay. 7 days passed and the generous man told him the whole story, from when he left their shop to how rich he became. The greedy miser also wants to do what the generous person does. He said to you, Look after my money until I return." 3 days later, there was another gathering near the straw pile. Before discussing, one said, "We shouldn't and #39 talk much. Here, there are forest veins." The other goats were bewildered and did not understand, so he explained, "Do you remember the king and number 39's sick prince? Last time, someone hiding in this pile of straw heard it and came to cure the prince and number 39's illness." An angry goat said, "Let me go in and see." Oh my God! It noticed a man lying in the straw, none other than the miser, of course. The goat immediately set fire to the pile of straw and the miser died in it. That and number 39's just the fate of all misers. And of course the money of the miser still lies in the house of that kind-hearted, generous person. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.